What we're going to be looking at today is Google's AI Studio and how it compares to the consumer grade Gemini, also from Google. Now, what the difference is for developers and for people that are looking to enhance the experience and get more out of AI models is really where the AI Studio steps in. Right, some of the cool features that we're going to be exploring today is going to be around the prompting and how to change your different models, how to get different temperatures, how to set your functionality and your code to execute. We'll also be looking at streaming real time using your voice or video or your desktop. And then we can start looking at some starter apps, and there's tuning a model, which I've got another video on. And then, yeah, just basically just general exploration of Google's awesome AI Studio. So sit back, relax, and hopefully you find this valuable. So what we can do now is go into ai.google.dev, and it'll take you to this page over here. All right, you can just sign into the Google AI Studio. And what it will do is it'll take you to a place like this. So what you can do is go look at the settings, and you can change the color of your environment if you'd like. You can check which plan you're on, and you can see that you're on the free version, which is great. What you can also do is get the API key if you haven't already, and what it'll do is it will link up to your Google Cloud account if you wanted it to, and just gives you options and accessibility via code to execute your Gemini models. Right, so what we're going to do now is just go and have a quick squiz at what we wanted to show you today. What we're going to do first is just show you some of the models. All right, I'm not going to do the basics over here, but I want to show you sort of on the right hand side where you can find most of your options and things that you can set. Let's just move that out the way. All right, so obviously you can get the code. So whatever you see on the page over here, you can get the code, and it will basically give you a sample of how to do it. All right, models, these are the different types of models that are available to you. As you can see, there's quite a lot of models. You've got the Gemini models, you've got the Gemma models, you've got the learning module, so there's quite a few cool little models there. You can also then obviously structure your output, execute code, function calling, and grounding with search. And again, the nice feature over here is turning off your safety. All right, so these are the restrictions that are basically lifted when you're using the Google AI Studio compared to the Gemini interface. This is more geared for your development, more for your enthusiasts, and more for those people looking for those proof of concepts to see exactly how you're going to get the most out of it. Right, so let's do a couple of tests over here. So right, so what we're going to do now is just do some basic prompts, and what I want to do is just set your system instruction, and you can type in a prompt name over here. Let's just call this a tour agent prompt, and hit enter. Right, what we're going to do with this one over here is we're going to leave it on the Gemini Flash model. All right, we're going to set the temperature nice and low because we don't want it to make up too much garbage, and we want to start looking at grounding it with Google search. All right, so we wanted to go and have a look in Google to just validate some of the answers. All right, so it's important that you put in the system prompt, and then what we can do is pop in a prompt to determine the recommended adventure tours in Australia, New Zealand, they cater for fit and active tours, and this is basically just a good prompt that will just allow the model to actually work. And the key here is grounding with Google search. So let's hit run and see what it does. All right, I've asked it to say you need to provide the activity level, the comfort level, and the group size. So let's go pop those in here. So number 1, the activity level can be a 3. Number 2, the comfort level can be a 3 as well, because relative comfort. And number 3 is the group size of around 10 people. How's that? Let's go run. Okay, cool. So it's basically found the information, it's found the websites, it's given you some of the citations, it's given you all the links, and basically shows you exactly where everything is and how you can access it. All right, so that's pretty cool actually. The next part is creating images, and I think this is also really cool. So the way you're going to find the images over here is by looking at your model, and you're going to go down to the Gemini Flash image generation. Right, it's experimental at the moment, But what it's basically going to do is you can do image editing, you can do visual stories, and you can even do a birthday card. We're going to create our own custom prompt over here, and let's just create a little story about a panda bear going on an adventure in a rainforest in a 3D cartoon style. For each scene, generate an image. Make the story for 6-year-olds and have it rhyme with fun words. Alright, so we're going to set the temperature as 1 because we want it to be quite creative. Safety settings we can keep as is. And again, if you wanted to get the code, all you do is you click on the get code. And what you'll notice over here is it's using the model Gemini Flash image generation. Alright, and let's hit run. So Pip the Panda's Rainforest Romp. Alright, so here's the scene 1, scene 2. As you can see, it's generating images on the fly relatively quickly. It's also generating images that are relevant to the actual scene. Alright, so which is absolutely fantastic. So it understands the context and he knows and knows exactly what it's trying to achieve. Right, then what I want to do is I want to show you my favorite features of the AI Studio at this stage is talking with Gemini live. And this is basically real-time streaming of whatever mode you're running with. So it could be your voice, it could be your screen, or it could be your webcam. And it'll basically start working with Gemini's large language models in the background to basically interpret what you're doing. So really, really powerful stuff. So really what we want to do is obviously set your system instruction. You can choose your model, and then ultimately over here is your format output. So you can do audio or you can do text. So literally it will talk back to you using a voice of Puck or whoever you want to choose over here. Let's just leave it as Puck for the timing, and we can leave all of these things at the moment. All right, I had a real life scenario where I wanted to ask for advice on some fitness. So I'm going to pop in a fitness prompt over here. As an expert in fitness and exercise and body health aimed at beginners. All right, it's a very basic system instruction, but just for testing purposes, what we're going to do now is just talk to Gemini and we're going to ask it questions. All right, so what it'll do is it'll connect up to a server and it'll start understanding and hearing what we're saying. So let's just click on it. Hey, I'm looking to start some fitness exercises as a middle-aged man with around 3 hours per week to spare. What would you recommend?
Middle-aged man with 3 hours a week, I'd recommend a balanced approach. Aim for a mix of cardio, strength training, and flexibility exercises. Would you like more specific examples for each?
Yes, please.
Okay, for cardio, consider brisk walking, jogging, swimming, or cycling. For strength training, focus on compound exercises like squats, push-ups, and rows, using weights or resistance bands. And for flexibility, try stretching or yoga. Does that sound like a good starting point?
So as you can see, what's happened over here is the voice interactivity as well as the lightning fast responses to the questions that I have asked, and ultimately getting back the voiceover as well as the content that needs to be created. It's absolutely powerful, and obviously grounded in Google search if you wanted it to, or you could have your own knowledge base behind it. So extremely powerful, and I think you can see where the use cases for this would come in the real world and the business application side. So there's some cool starter apps over here which have been released, and what we're going to do is just go to spatial understanding. And I found this quite interesting because there's a lot of times where images are created and you want to try and understand what's in that particular image. All right, so you can basically click that, or you can click on upload an image. We'll just use the base image at the moment, and what we can do is click on send. All right, what it's going to do at the moment is going to ultimately tell you where these particular items are, and it's going to basically highlight it over here in the right hand side. All right, it's going to tell you what it is. So it's butter, it's toast, it's tomato, mushrooms, salmon, and a lemon, and eggs, and there's a cup. It doesn't say that it's got coffee or tea in it because it probably doesn't know, and obviously here's the plate. Alright, so this is really, really cool and really powerful. If you had images which contain things that you didn't actually know what they were, this is a great little tool to help you understand what's actually on that plate of food, or what's in that particular picture that you're looking for. And you can now take this information, you can say, alright, let's say, how do you make scrambled eggs? That's also a really cool, powerful start app. So I have a play around with that. Tuning a model, I've got a separate video on that. Find the link down in the description below. But again, what it'll do is it'll basically take your Flash model and fine tune it based on your Q&A. Alright, so have a look at my other video. Alright, another really cool feature that I found quite helpful, especially in development of applications, is when you want to get your code to execute. So you can basically get Gemini to execute code for you inside the actual AI tool. So make sure you're on the Gemini Flash model, or choose a different model that you're looking for. Gemini Flash is fine for this type of thing. We can even probably do the yeah, so basically just choose the Gemini Flash model, because it basically says that you can process 10,000 lines of code and call tools natively like search and stream images, etc. So that's great. All right, so what we want to do is just set the temperature down, and we want to enable the code execution. All right, and how does that work? So let's just type in a line. Let's just type in some code, some Python code over here. Let's just go execute code for I in a range of 1 to 20 and print I. All right, so it's basically a little loop that we want to try and create in Python. And what it does is it actually executed the code. All right, so it basically said, here's the code and here's the actual execution result. So this is what it would actually print out if you had that code running on your local PC or on a system. All right, so that's pretty cool. Again, really powerful way to test it and also to understand what it's doing. All right, the code iterates and prints each number on a new line. All right, so what else could you do in this environment over here? You can go in and compare the different models. So you can basically compare the Flash model with the Light model. All right, and then you can basically try and get two different outputs over here. So this is a really powerful feature. So what we can do is you can now start seeing exactly what the difference is between the different models and which model to use at the right time. Okay, so you can see here that it's slightly different outputs. All right, this has got the Flash model. So again, you can see the difference between the two over here. So the Light versus the other one. So hopefully you found this extremely valuable. I did. I enjoyed playing around with this, and thank you for watching, and subscribe if you enjoy this content. See you next time.